The 4 screw holes you see around the perimeter of the copper cold plate is what holds the retention kit to the pump block. While previous designs were claimed to be somewhat fragile despite us not finding any issues with it despite repeated installations, it seems that Cooler Master has beefed up the plastic around the area to make it stronger. Now let's get to installing the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion. The installation process is actually quite straightforward. The fans are held down by these toolless screws that you can also use a screwdriver with to tighten them. I really quite like the option of screwing them down by hand and then using a screwdriver for the finishing touch, or you can do like our video guy is doing and just screw them down with the screwdriver from start to finish. As we are going to use the cooler with an AMD processor, we will be installing the Amd Retention Kit. As you can see, once again it is very simple, although this you can't screw in by hand. We will now spare you the gory details of our video guy's struggle to get AMD's disgustingly annoying hooks to latch on, which is not Cooler Master's fault but AMD's. So yeah. And here we have the ARGB controller which has magnets in it to hold it in place on most cases. That's pretty nifty, and unlike Cooler Master's previous models, this one you will most probably want to use the ARGB controller. One thing that you might want to take note of is to not install the fans in the wrong orientation like what our video guy did. An easy way to be sure is to look for the frame. On standard fans, air is pushed towards the frame. Depending on your case configuration, you might want to have the fans pull air through the radiator, but in our video guy's case, his SL600M case isn't suitable for such a configuration. Once everything is installed, you can see that it makes for an absolutely blinked out build. Alright, enough about that, let's talk performance. The Master Liquid ML360 Illusion sits right in the middle of our comparison chart. For context, our test system has a Core i5 11600K running at 4.9 GHz with the V core set to 1.43 volts in the BIOS. The Master Liquid ML360 Illusion manages to keep the CPU drawing 227 watts on average pretty cool, with an average temperature of 82 Celsius and a maximum temperature of 87 Celsius. This sees the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion outperform its smaller 240mm brethren by a fair margin, but it lags behind the MSI MPG Core Liquid K360 we checked out previously. However, when it comes to cooling, there's more to cooler than just raw cooling performance. The Master Liquid ML360 Illusion is actually the quietest cooler we have tested, despite a smaller 240mm cooler being in the mix. Meanwhile, the MPG Core Liquid K360 is the loudest cooler in the stack, which negates some of its performance to me. Cooler Master probably targeted a certain noise to performance ratio with the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion, and I will say that I'm quite pleased with the performance I see here. Of course, better fans could have probably increased performance without increasing the noise level, but I guess we have these fans to show off the ARGB Gen 2 capabilities of the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion. And what capabilities does ARGB Gen 2 bring to the table, you ask? Well, you can set each LED separately, even if it is behind an ARGB splitter. This is supported in Cooler Master's Master Plus software, and as you can see here, it offers quite a few standard lighting modes. There's Spectrum, where you can adjust the speed of the changing colors, Static, which is, well, self-explanatory, Reload, where the lights go from end to end, and Recoil, which has the lights bouncing off at the ends. Breathing is also a familiar mode with all the LEDs breathing in tandem. Refill is a pretty nice mode as well, letting you see just how fine is the control over the LEDs as the LEDs light up one by one. Fill Flow is also a very interesting mode, although it can be a bit confusing as the colors change. And then Rainbow mode, which has the colors shift smoothly for a very Kedai Tom Yum look if you are into that sort of thing. Now we get into the customizable settings. Here we have the multi-layer mode, where you can set each of the fan and pump block to a different mode. This is where the ARGB Gen 2 feature really shines over ARGB Gen 1 solutions. So instead of having all the devices connected behind a splitter sharing the same mode, you can actually customize each device separately. Custom mode goes even deeper with you being able to assign each LED on each ARGB Gen 2 device, or in the case of the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion, each of the LEDs on the 3 fans and the pump block. This is really quite mind-blowing to me, although the LEDs will be static only, so you can't exactly create cool motions or whatnot with this. And yes, I know we talked about how the fans are not supposed to be like this for our video guy's build, but he made a mistake. Let's forgive him. The testing is also not done on the setup in this video, so it's all good. With all that said, I think that the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion is a pretty decent deal for RM579. You get the included ARGB Gen 2 controller, 3 very bright fans, and good cooling performance. If you want to set up a blinked out build, this is probably the best option for you. It is compatible with most relevant platforms today, and has a beautiful, sleek design that works great with all that ARGB lighting. If you're using it with an Intel platform, the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion is very easy to install. It still performs quite well at good noise levels, and all in all, it is reasonably priced for a 360mm AIO. What I don't quite like is the fan splitter having these mustard and ketchup cables. Having them fully sleeved would have been nice. The fan and pump's proprietary ARGB connector is also not something I wanna see. It's quite funny, because the ARGB controller itself has the standard 3-pin ARGB header, but Cooler Master decided to use the smaller connectors on the ARGB Gen 2 devices themselves. The fans are also not the best performing ones out there, with the airflow and static pressure leaving much to be desired. We also encountered a bug where the lighting does not turn off completely when the PC is shut down, but apparently Cooler Master is working hard to fix this, so fingers crossed. And that's it for our review of the Master Liquid ML360 Illusion. What do you think? Would you get this for your next build or an upgrade for your current setup? Let us know. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more content like this. I'm Vincent Chan from PokdeLIVE, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye! Hello, I hope you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Hydro on YouTube. So yeah, it seems that we have some problems with Facebook streaming this week because so I'm unable to stream to Facebook, but I already shared the link to Facebook. Hopefully guys who usually join us every week on Facebook can join us on YouTube, and I hope that the quality on YouTube is better because I'm not exactly sure how it will sound look like, because I'm also very sorry that earlier there might be some echo because I didn't mute the stream that I was actually looking at. So so anyway, this week we'll be talking about the unboxing of the Cooler Master X RacunTech peripherals set we have here, and also go through our news recap of the week, because that's what we do now every week. And let me just check through Facebook, see whether there are anything that I can do. But kind of annoying that I can't stream to Facebook. Let me try one more time. Nope, can't. So I already tested trying to stream to Facebook from OBS and also Streamlabs. So apparently none of them works because some reason. But in any case, we do have this backup stream luckily, because we decided to stream to YouTube as well. And oh, so you Hydro, who are you, Hydro, on Facebook? Because obviously I don't know anyone on Facebook named Hydro. But being, loyal viewers, I think you should be either Melvin or Ng Chong Sen, because you guys are the most loyal fans. Shout out to you guys. So I think we should get with the news first before we start unboxing this nice Cooler Master X RacunTech box here. And let's get to it. So the first news that I would like to talk about is, the Samsung Galaxy S22 with Exynos that it might be harder to come by than, the Snapdragon version. So in previous years, you will often see that, people will be complaining that, they can't get the Snapdragon in Malaysia, and that's usually the case because the Snapdragon chipsets were historically better than the Exynos contemporaries. But then this generation, when the Exynos 2200 might actually be the faster chipset among the two, we might be getting the Snapdragon version instead. So that would be a very interesting change and a very a very unwanted change, because while we did want the Exynos, we did want the Snapdragon version in more markets, now it might not be the case because, well, if you guys aren't aware, the Exynos 2200 is supposed to feature the RDNA 2 GPU, which is gonna be a lot faster than, whatever else is in the market right now. Obviously, what's coming next, we don't know, but the Exynos 2200's RDNA 2 GPU is supposed to be up to like 50% faster than their last generation, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also going to feature ray tracing, which is going to be a pretty big thing, although I don't exactly know how well it'll perform, because as previously mentioned, when you see our reviews of the RX 6600 and 6600 XT, they don't exactly deliver a very good ray tracing performance even at 1080p. And with smartphones, we have 1440p displays, so we might not be able to even game at native resolution with ray tracing on. But yeah, maybe if they minimize the ray tracing effects, we might be able to get a playable experience, but of course that we have to see. And of course, with currently Samsung is the only one with ray tracing. MediaTek did announce that they are gonna support Vulkan ray tracing, but yeah, we don't exactly know how that will pan out because they don't exactly have ray tracing cores, while the RDNA 2 GPU cores themselves, they have this ray tracing ray accelerators, which are technically dedicated to handle ray tracing. So that should give them better performance than whatever MediaTek can come up with. But yeah, even then, as far as we know, there are only like two that support ray tracing. We still need Apple to get on board, we still need Qualcomm to get on board, and all the other chip makers to get on board before it will probably be a big thing. I think probably when Apple adopts it, ray tracing in mobile games will probably be a bigger thing, because like as you can see, with Apple adopting 120Hz, we actually see a pretty big burst in high refresh rate supported games. So yeah, I hope that Samsung Malaysia doesn't decide to bring us the Snapdragon version instead of the Exynos version, because I am actually looking forward to the Exynos version. Because previously, yeah, as I mentioned, Snapdragon was the better chip, but this generation, Samsung's Exynos chip does look very promising. And then moving on to the next one, we'll be talking about cryptocurrency targeting AMD Ryzen CPUs and their generous cache. So if you guys didn't know, AMD's CPUs have very huge caches, I think it's caches, right? So yeah, so that's a pretty big thing, and they actually have it very big. Yeah, wait, I'm actually having some issues right now. Apakah Kurt Stylo itu? Kurt Stylo itu winner giveaway. So I hope he is here, or if he's not here, then you guys can maybe hope that next week we will roll again for the same price, because it's an MSI pen drive that we have here. I heard news of 5000 series releasing in July. Yeah, it is quite possible. Sudah tak ada di Facebook kah? Well, minggu ni tak tahu kenapa Facebook tak nak bagi kita stream kat Facebook, so terpaksa stream kat YouTube. Kita memang ada run YouTube stream ni dah berapa minggu tak ingat. I think dah 3 minggu kot. Tapi yeah, so this is a backup stream, and so happens that this week our YouTube stream decided to not work. So yeah, apparently it doesn't. When I tried to stream to YouTube, when I tried to stream to Facebook, it told me that the stream key doesn't work. I tried changing the stream key a few times, it didn't work. I tried with slops as well, didn't work. So yeah, we'll just be on YouTube right now. Hi GT Lim, oh, you're joining us here, so nice of you. Muhammad Saifuddin, hola amigo, hola hola. Sorry, my YouTube name is not real name. Yeah, my YouTube name is actually real, because actually I use my Google account, and my Google account has my real name. So yeah, maybe you should wait for that. Are you talking about the RTX 4000 series? Because the Ryzen 4000 series is already like a generation old. Now it's 5000 series. So yeah, maybe you should wait. Yes. Cache because cache. I used to pronounce cache or something else, but it was not pronounced cache before this for me lah. So now I actually know how to pronounce it. So anyway, yeah, the new cryptocurrency it's not exactly new, but it was I think it's gonna be a spike right now. So Raptorium mines using CPUs, and they actually benefit more from large caches, large L3 caches in particular. And Ryzen processors have the largest L3 caches in the market right now. So if you look at the Ryzen 9 5900X or the 5950X, you get 72 megabytes of cache, which is a lot compared to, you know, Intel's. Currently the i9 12900K has like 30 megabytes, and that is actually their largest cache yet. I think the i9 10900K had like what, 20 megabytes. So yeah, this is a very huge upgrade for Intel, but still nowhere near what AMD offers, and that's probably gonna be AMD's downfall, I guess you can call it a downfall, because that is gonna affect them and it's gonna make them more popular among miners. I don't know whether this is something that's bad for AMD per se, because it still translates to sales for AMD. It's just that, you know, for us gamers, we'll be having a harder time to get them. And as far as I know, AMD's Ryzen 5000 series are not exactly easy to get either, because yeah, they're manufactured at TSMC, and as you can see, AMD pretty much has everything banking on TSMC's 7nm node, which produces everything from their server parts, the server CPUs, the server GPUs, all the way to, you know, stuff like the PS5, PS5's SoC, Xbox Series X and Series S SoC. So a lot of chips produced on the 7nm node, and with this increasing the demand for Ryzen 5000 series CPUs, I think gamers will probably have a hard time competing against, you know, miners with deeper wallets. So might be a bad thing, but yeah, we have to see, because this is still, I think Raptorium is a relatively small coin. So one of the biggest issues with, you know, GPU mining is that they're using it to mine Ethereum, which is a very popular coin now and a very expensive coin now. So that might get more attention. Raptorium, I'm not so sure. I don't exactly see it in like huge demand right now. I think it costs like what, $0.02 per Raptorium, so it's still a long way to go before it reaches something like Ethereum. So hopefully demand will still not be that insane. So yeah. And according to, you know, Tom's Hardware's estimations, you're looking at the Ryzen 9 5900X paying off for itself in 153 days, which is about like 5 months, while the 5950X will pay for itself in 178 days, which is like what, 6 months, which is really fast. And I think if anyone already owns one of these CPUs, you might consider trying to mine it. I don't really think miners will really want this, because like I mentioned, the coin is not exactly valuable right now, and also the fact that to use the CPU to mine, you need to get multiple motherboards, which can add to the cost quite a lot. When it comes to GPUs, you can use one motherboard and connect a lot of GPUs, but with CPU mining, you have to get a lot of motherboards to use each CPU, and that's probably going to take up quite a lot of space and quite a lot of inventory, because yeah, you need multiple power supplies for that as well. Probably not gonna be the next mainstream mining coin, but yeah, it's gonna be a threat if it actually becomes popular. RTX 4000, yeah, is supposed to be coming sometime soon, according to rumors, maybe next year. I think it's most probably will be announced, you know, like at Computex 2022. So maybe July seems like a pretty legit timeline, because usually they'll announce at Computex, and then after Computex, then they'll start sending out to reviewers, and then the launch happens, like the actual market launch. But yeah, there are actually no actual solid information for that yet, so not too sure. But yeah, RTX 4000 rumors are also saying that it's twice as fast as RTX 3000. So if you wait for that, I think it might be a good idea. Although obviously supply is still a very big question mark, because I think Nvidia is going back to TSMC right now, and as you guys know, TSMC is very overworked right now. And hopefully by next year they will be able to expand their fabs, and you know, some of the workload will be, you know, be able to be segregated to the other fabs as well. So yeah, but not too sure what will happen next year. Obviously I can't see the future. So yeah, fingers crossed that RTX 4000 series will be more readily available in the market than, you know, RTX 3000. And the last bit is, you know, the 5G in Malaysia hitting the stumbling block. So this is probably something that I would like to mention as well, because so apparently Malaysia has confirmed the fact that, you know, we have a special purpose vehicle called DNB to roll out 5G infrastructure in Malaysia, and then, you know, telcos are supposed to get to wholesale the service from this DNB. So apparently, according to a I don't know whether it's Reuters, right? Reuters, I don't know. Yeah, so that they have actually published a report saying that, you know, no telco has actually signed up with DNB to, you know, buy the service. But apparently after that, DNB came up with a statement that, you know, they actually haven't started negotiations. So obviously without negotiating, no one will sign anything. So yeah, it's just that, you know, DNB hasn't gone out to start the negotiations, and not that, you know, the telcos are rejecting DNB's proposals. So the downside is that the fact that they haven't gone out to start the negotiations is that the negotiations will be starting after at the late end of this year, after this month, because apparently the RAO, which is required before they start the negotiations, is gonna be ready by the end of this month. So yeah, next month they'll start negotiations, and they expect, you know, the telcos to be online in early 2022. So if you guys remember back in 2019, I think, MCMC announced that, you know, the telcos are supposed to tender for the network bands in Q1 of 2020, and then by Q3 2020 we are supposed to get 5G networks in certain places, which are obviously powered by the telcos themselves. So with DNB themselves has to push out the rollout, has to roll out this 5G infrastructure across Malaysia, and right now they're targeting 500 sites by the end of this year in places like Putrajaya, Cyberjaya, and also KL. So yeah, sounds like someone wants to monopoly the 5G and sub-service the 5G to other telcos. That's exactly what DNB is actually. But I think the idea is that, you know, instead of saying it as a monopoly, they are trying to, you know, the government is trying to reduce the cost for the telcos to roll out 5G, because obviously 5G infrastructure is not cheap. And yeah, with DNB, supposedly it's gonna reduce the cost because we don't need to have every telco pushing out the same amount of money or higher amount of monies, because each telco has to do it themselves. That will mount up to more cost than, you know, DNB doing it one time and then, like, you know, renting out selling this wholesale to, you know, the telcos. So yeah, in a way it's probably good for us Malaysians, for us consumers, but it also affects the competitiveness, because since everyone is renting from the same source, you won't exactly get like crazy competition, because yeah, everyone pays the same price. And the prices will be made known, so that's one good thing out of this, because then we know, you know, whether the telcos are actually charging us ludicrous amounts or, you know, it's actually reasonable. Hi, I'm Faiz. Hi, Muhammad Safwan. Mantap. Thanks. I doubt that though. This is Malaysia. Well, I hope for the best lah, you know, because obviously I am here and I hope for the best, because I also want to use 5G. I've been using this 5G phone for like a year. I'm gonna change my phone soon, and yet I have not experienced 5G yet. So that's kind of bummer. 5G already in vaccine. Speaking of 5G in vaccine, I actually had this comment, you know, that like if they actually injected us all with 5G, that would probably roll out very fast. But then obviously with it being this slow, I don't think it's in our blood. So yeah. Hopefully that, you know, the whole thing will turn out well and we can get 5G at affordable prices, because yeah. So I think that's about it. I think it's probably time to start unboxing this package. So let me just give us where's the giveaway winner? Alright, so let's keep him up there in case he decides to join us, you know, he can win the prize. If he doesn't, then too bad. So yeah, this is the box. Kind of weird that, you know, Cooler Master decided not to put their logo on the box, because yeah, it's actually all Cooler Master peripherals inside, and they work with RacunTech to bring it to sort of like market. So obviously I think with this being a set, probably it will be sold as a bundle with RacunTech's you know, pre-builds, and, you know, not exactly pre-builds, I mean they are custom builds, but I think you should be able to get it as like, you know, a standalone product as well, because yeah. So the price of this set is supposed to be RM499, so keep that in mind. And yeah, let's get into it. I thought our vaccine's already 7G. That's weird. Why 7G? 6G belum. So yeah, in the box you have actually 5 peripherals, 5 items, like so 5 in one set. So you get the keyboard, your palm rest for your keyboard, and also headphones, a mouse, and a mousepad. So overall, $499 for this set I think is pretty reasonable, and there will actually be an exclusive, which is this. The CK352 keyboard. So the CK352 keyboard will apparently not be available at retail, and instead you will only be available in this set. So that's something you need to keep in mind if you really like this keyboard. So the design is slightly different from the CK351, but I think we'll get into that a little bit later. RacunTech bagi please. Yeah, maybe we should ask RacunTech to get us one for giveaway, right? And then we have the CM310 mouse, which is already in the market right now. You can actually buy it on Shopee or Lazada. It's already available. The headphone as well, the MH630 is not particularly new. It's already available in the market, so this is also part of the set. And this, as far as I know, is not a USB one, right? Yeah, it's a 3.5mm headphone. So yeah, it will work with everything, everything, from PC phones to, you know, your PS5 or PS4 or Xbox, everything lah. Just technically everything. So yeah, it's not USB. And this is the palm rest. So one thing I'm quite curious is that, you know, the 351 actually came with a palm rest in the box. So I'm not exactly sure whether this one does come with a palm rest, because then it would be very weird. I think most probably doesn't, because it would be very weird for them to bundle a palm rest with a keyboard that already has a palm rest, right? So yeah, this is the WR351, which is a full-sized palm rest, which obviously works with the keyboard. And it's made of a soft fabric with a sponge foam material underneath, which we have reviewed, I think, the WR351, 531, 530. I don't know, one of the versions we did review. So yeah, this one goes here. And last one is the mousepad. Is the MP511, which is I think manufactured with Cordura. Yeah, it's Cordura fabric, which some of you might like because it's slightly rougher than your usual mousepad, which some people like because it helps them have a better grip when it comes to, you know, bouncing around. Yeah, but it's not as rough as the MP510 that came before it, because there's an MP510. And that one was a very, very rough mousepad that actually, you know, hurts the fingertips, finger ends. We get 2 from RacunTech, you keep 1. Yeah, possibly doable, right? So yeah, it costs $499. It's gonna launch next year in early January, so you can look for it if you are interested. But I think, yeah, we should get through the entire set right now. Oops. What the hell? Battery. Yep. If you're a Cooler Master fan, definitely this is a set for you, because yeah, you get everything Cooler Master and it's a single set, which is very convenient. You don't actually have to go out and buy like separate pieces. So yeah, the 352 was actually announced during the Summer Summit event. So they announced a few keyboards at a time. The 352 is one of them, and it comes with brown switches. I don't exactly know what brand they are, but yeah, that's what we are here to find out. This is actually the only new product in the whole lineup, because the rest of these products are actually available in the market, so I guess we probably not pay so much attention to them. But yeah, this is definitely the highlight, I guess. Because this keyboard you can't get elsewhere, and it's actually not available in the market right now, and it won't be available in the market other than, you know, through the set. So that's a very interesting thing. Oh, even has RacunTech branding. So yeah, it has, oh, I don't think you guys can see it like this. So yeah, it has this nice and pretty classic design. This color, you know, the gray with the black keycaps. I like this color combination. It looks pretty good. And the plate is also made of, I think, aluminum, I think. Is it? Why am I reading the thing upside down? Yeah, I think it should be aluminium. Aluminum. Yep, aluminum. My bad. Aluminium. Red for the win. You like red switches? I am technically building a Getron yellow keyboard right now. So I can agree that linear can feel good. Personally, I am a fan of tactile switches. So brown switches, and the CS Ocean Blue keyboard switches that I was lubing in one of the previous live streams, those are my favorites. So yeah, tactile brown is fine. I know some people don't like browns because they say they are scratchy reds, but yeah, it's good. I don't know whether you guys can hear it. It's kind of mild and it's kind of scratchy. And you can definitely hear the sprinting from these switches. So let's see what switches they are. They are from LC. Yeah, they're LC switches. I don't exactly know what brand that is. Is it LC or TPC? LC. What are LC switches? Also, apparently they are featured in some other keyboards. Is it optical? No, right? No, this is not optical, this is mechanical. So yeah, I don't think it is hot swappable. There's nothing in the box that makes me think it is hot swappable, because usually hot swappable keyboards will come with a switch puller. No, my friend, not LC. So yeah, there's only the manual and also a keycap puller. This is a cheap keycap puller, not the best. It's the kind of plastic ring thing. If you are serious with your keyboard, you should get, the wire keyboard puller, which Cooler Master actually does bundle with the other keyboards. The Cooler Master CK351 I think came with one, so it's actually pretty good. And Cooler Master has it. I'm not sure why they didn't decide to bundle it with this set. So the keycaps themselves are quite nice, double shot, very thin. I think it's ABS. It doesn't say. They don't mention whether it's ABS or PBT, but yeah, it's quite thin. Maybe it's ABS, maybe it's PBT. But yeah, it's very rough. Maybe it's PBT, because usually PBT keycaps are rougher. So yeah, and so on top of, the double shot legends, they also have, the printed legends, which will probably go away if you use them very seriously. But yeah, the main legend that shine through will always be there because it's double shot. So yeah, this thing will never go away. Quite a pretty nice keycap, just too thin. Overall, the keyboard looks very sleek. It's very sleek. It's very slim. You can see that it's not very thick. Might look good on some desk. And there is this RGB line at the side there, which looks very nice. Yeah, motorbike. Woo! RGB, baby! RGB, baby! So yeah, RGB is nice on this keyboard. You can see that there is RGB on the sides, which I like. Ooh. And also obviously RGB on the front. Everything looks very nice. The logo, unfortunately, is not RGB. It's just painted on. So yeah, that's something. And the RacunTech logo here, I don't know whether you guys can see it. There's a RacunTech logo right above here. That's not RGB either. So that could have been made RGB. That's nice. But I really like the color of the keycaps, man. It's kind of nice. The double shot legends, not so much. I don't think they look very good because, yeah, they have these ends which don't meet. Like, reminds me of cheap keycaps. Lighter. But lighter. The keyboard is quite light. I think it's like less than maybe a kilo, about there. But yeah, it's quite a light keyboard. I'm not gonna have too much to talk about in terms of weight. I don't know whether these channels actually mean it's splash proof. I don't think this is actually splash proof. Yeah, it's not mentioned. RGB for more power, take more power. Well, technically, I always loved my RGB. I never really cared about the power consumption. I have a wireless keyboard that only lasts 2 days with RGB on, but I still keep it on anyway because RGB is life. Purple light on that grey, totally CM. Yep, I would say that this would definitely be the ultimate CM keyboard. I really like the color scheme, you know, black and grey. It's a common color scheme, but it works, and it's especially nice because, you know, the cleanness of this build. You can see that the clean aluminum build along with the plastic back. It looks very nice, kind of pretty. Nothing much to talk about. It's a full-size keyboard. I wish it was TKL. I think if RacunTech and Cooler Master wants to do another batch, another set of this, I think they should go with TKL keyboard because gamers, I think, would prefer TKL unless you play GTA. For some reason, apparently GTA needs the numpad. Your power bill is set. Nah, my boss pays for it, so yeah. And it only has one stage fit, which is pretty common, standard stuff. So it flips up to raise your keyboard. Apparently, it's not very good for ergonomics if you flip your keyboard, but if you raise your keyboard, but that's what I do. So I think we should just, you know, end it with a quick sound test, I guess. So the nice thing with this keyboard is that out of the box, you get purple lighting for the keys, which is, yeah, as mentioned earlier, a very, very Cooler Master thing. But along the sides, they are RGB flow. So yeah, it's a very nice default setting for me. I think there should be more settings, and I think you should be able to configure it in the software. I'm not really sure. Cooler Master, previously, they did decide to use to limit the software support for the more affordable keyboards. This might be one of them. Yeah, there's no mention of any software. Seems like you have to do all your configuration on the keyboard itself. But I guess that's fine because, yeah, obviously having software, you should be able to do more because, you know, with software you can do more unique arrangements. Some people I've seen during Merdeka, they tried to make, you know, RGB go in the shape of, you know, having the Malaysian flag and stuff. So yeah, not being able to do that easily is probably gonna be a bummer. But I know some people, they have tried doing like per key RGB on, you know, manually on the keyboard. Takes a lot of time, but it's possible. What's TKL keyboard? Basically, TKL keyboard is just a keyboard without the numpad. They just chop it off, and that makes it a lot more compact because, yeah, a lot of people don't use the numpad. Like, personally, I don't use the numpad much, except, you know, when I'm doing benchmarking. So yeah, technically I can live with a TKL. Right now, my latest keyboard, my Kidos NJ80, is only a 75% keyboard, which actually is pretty much like I chopped off this whole area here as well. So yeah, it's actually even smaller. But yeah, I'm rebuilding my TKL keyboard, so if you guys want to check out a TKL keyboard, you guys probably can wait for another month when I complete my keyboard, because it's gonna take a lot of time. But yeah, so I think, yeah, I was getting carried away. I should get to the sound test. So give me a moment as I adjust my mic. I need to turn off some of the filters because yeah, the filters will prevent you guys from hearing it. So now the filters are off, and yeah, should be able. Steps definitely, the stabilizers definitely need some work because you can definitely hear the rattle. Oh, the stabilizer actually. But to be honest, it's actually already better than, you know, my original keyboard before I tried to mod it. Today quite sad. Yeah, because obviously I think YouTube is not really a channel that we have pushed a lot. So yeah, probably some people are not aware and just thought that we are not streaming this week. Sounds nice to you, eh? It can definitely sound better. I can definitely make it sound better. But yeah, this is not my keyboard to mod. But yeah, my TKL will definitely sound very nice. Don't worry. If you want to know what a real keyboard should sound like, I think you should wait for that. I will try to make it as good as it can be. Obviously, I'm not the best keyboard modder, but yeah. Anyway, I think, yeah, let's try some key testing. So this is not my best typing position because, yeah. So 98 WPM, pretty normal, my stuff. My speed is quite normal, obviously. But yeah, this is not my best position right now because I usually sit a lot higher than at this table. So this table, my hands are actually not comfortable, but it's fine. Sorry, I noob with the ASMR keyboard. My keyboard is gonna cost more than my old keyboard. I'm actually spending more building up my old keyboard than I actually spent on my new keyboard. So it's gonna be very expensive for me to give it away, you know. It's sort of like just a hobby thing. I just decided to, rebuild my old keyboard despite the fact that I have a newer keyboard. So yeah, this keyboard overall looks very good. I like the lighting. I don't really like the fact that the keycaps are kind of thin, and also the fact that the legends are not that good. It reminds me of a cheaper keyboard, but I do appreciate that it comes out of the box with the purple lighting on the keycaps and also RGB along the sides, and I do quite like the rest of the aesthetic. Obviously the stabilizers need some work, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the case for most pre-built keyboards. I mean, most keyboards that you buy on the market anyway. So yeah, overall pretty happy. I think that's about it this week. I think this is about it for the keyboard, and the rest of the components we will also see some reviews from them. My colleagues will be reviewing some of them. I'll be reviewing the keyboard. So yeah, stay tuned. And with that, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Oh wait, let me find this as a... Any plans on testing the latest MacBook Pro? We aren't sure whether we're able to get one for testing, but yeah, hopefully we can. I'm very interested as well, with all the M1 Max, M1 Pro performance that we have seen, but yeah, we'll see whether we can try get one. Remember your name, Hydro. Yes, I will. Thank you for joining us, Hydro, this week. Really appreciate it, even though we are not on the usual platform. And yeah, thank you. Adios. Goodbye. Bye bye.